So day one of Packers training camp is officially in the books, which means we are officially back. The Packers season is right around the corner. It's been months and months of us waiting and waiting for training camp to get going so we can finally see how Jordan Love looks, how this new young offense looks, what this defense looks like, and all the different things like that. And now we are this much closer to the season actually starting, which is very exciting. I'm pumped that we are finally back and we finally have some new things to talk about because June and July, most of the month, it's pretty quiet, not much new to discuss, and now with these practices happening, we will have a lot more to keep an eye on and a lot more to look out for as we head into this next season. If you guys are new here, I put out Packers content throughout the week. If you want to stay up to date with all things Packers, news, analysis, training camp, all that kind of stuff, you can subscribe here and turn on the notifications so you never miss any Packers news, any Packers content. So to start off, I want to show you right here, we have Ryan Wood showing the different players who are not practicing today. We have Tarvarius Moore, safety, illness. We have tackle Caleb Jones, illness. Tariq Carpenter, who has moved to linebacker recently, illness. Grant Dubose, wide receiver, back injury. And then Rashawn Gary, his ACL tear, which we're keeping an eye on to see if he is able to come back week one potentially. And then Eric Stokes, of course, corner with a foot injury. Then here we have from Andy Herman. He was at practice, and honestly, I enjoy his tweets a lot. He always has lots of insights because he is there, and his tweets are great, really breaking down the practice. And all these people who I'm showing here were at the practice. I was not at the practice. I live in Texas, but I like to take a look at all these different reporters who are there, look at their tweets, and see what we can gather from the different information coming out of Packers camp. So first off here, we have first team drills. This is the defense first. Preston Smith on the edge, Justin Hollins on the edge, which means that first rounder Lucas Van Ness was not taking first team reps, which I wish he was because that would have meant that the Packers feel ready to put him in there right away. And maybe that's something that happens as training camp goes by. Maybe he is able to, start if Rashawn Gary isn't able to start week one. But right now it looks like Justin Hollins is ahead of him on the depth chart. He does, of course, have more experience. He was brought in last year, played on the Rams for a couple seasons, and he actually, if you look at his pass rush win rate from weeks 12 to 18 last year, was 26th out of 104 edge rushers. So right now he is the starter there on the first team drills, not Lucas Van Ness, first rounder, who is pretty young, and so it could take him some time to develop. I hope he's ready to come in and start week one. That would be awesome to see, but if not, it could take him a little time to develop and be ready. Then here on the interior, we have Devonte Wyatt, who should take a big step this next season with Jaron Reed gone, with Dean Lowry gone, two veteran defensive linemen. Devonte Wyatt now, after being drafted in the past year or so, or a year or so ago, coming into his second year, will have a lot more opportunity. Kenny Clark, of course, on the interior, and then TJ Slayton. And this is typically the non-nickel defense. When the nickel defense came in, it was Keyshawn Nixon who subbed in. Devonte Wyatt came out, according to Andy Herman. Then we have Quay Walker and Devondre Campbell at linebacker. And then at corner, we have Jair and Rasul Douglas. At safety, Rudy Ford and Darnell Savage. Now looking at offense, Jordan Love, of course, at QB. We have Aaron Jones at running back. We have at tight end, this is a two tight end set, DeGuara and second rounder Luke Musgrave. And then at receiver, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. Then here's the starting O-line. Bakhtiari at left tackle, Elton Jenkins left guard, Josh Myers center, John Runyon Jr. right guard, and then Zach Tom is taking those first team reps at right tackle. And throughout camp or earlier OTAs, that kind of thing, it was Zach Tom and Josh Nijman switching back and forth at right tackle. And so to see Tom starting off there may mean that he has won the job over Josh. We'll see, though, as training camp continues. Here we have from Ryan Wood, blocking going to be a big part of, I believe that means rookie transition for a tight end. Luke Musgrave with the first team at start of camp. His first rep, Devonte Wyatt, welcomes him to the NFL. Impressive speed off the ball from Wyatt. So Luke Musgrave seemingly having a tough time against Devonte Wyatt there in one of those first reps. And then here we have Andy Herman says this. Finally, a hole to the left side for Patrick Taylor and a nice pickup. Danny Etling gets the second team QB reps. Shamar John Charles, all over a throw to the flat from Etling to Melton, incomplete. Clifford in his third QB. Nice run by Lou Nichols. Lucas Van Ness likely would have had him if live tackling. So looking at the backup QB competition, we have Etling got the second team reps. He does have some more experience with Sean Clifford coming in this offseason as a draft pick. And then if we move on here to Andy Herman, he says, Campbell, Clark, and Slayton all over a run to the right. Tough sledding for the run game early. Love finds Dillon in the flat, but nice coverage by Campbell. He was right there for a stop. And then here we have from Herman, 13, Dontavian Wicks doing his best Alan Lazard impression and sealing Rudy Ford on a great block to sprint a nice run. That'll get the kid more looks. Really nice play by the rookie. Watson drops a throw from Love in the flat on the next play. So Dontavian Wicks was a rookie draft pick this past year, 5th rounder from Virginia. And I think he has a ton of upside if he can get back to his 2021 form the way he was playing in college. And to already see him, making some nice blocks. We know Matt LaFleur loves receivers who can block. So that could be a way to, succeed as a receiver here is him doing the dirty work, getting those run blocks down. So we'll see what Dontavian Wicks can do. And there's so much young talent here on this entire roster. And so it'll be fun to see how these young guys develop, how these receivers, tight ends, how they all grow together here over the next couple of seasons. Then here from Andy Herman says this, Lucas Van Ness unblocked comes screaming down the line for a run stop. You're going to need to block him. So Van Ness, even though not starting on the first team, seems to be making some kind of noise here at training camp. Ennis Gaines getting time in the slot with the 2s. Finished the season last year playing there against Vikings and Lions. Alex Magoo, who was brought in recently, who won MVP in the USFL at QB, gets the defense to jump, then gets Wicks hit on a murder ball over the middle. Gaines with the breakup. Then here we have on 6th-round draft pick Anders Carlson, kicker, who seems to be the starter here with Mason Crosby no longer on the roster. We have from Paul Brettel. Windy day for Carlson. He packs some power. O'Donnell holding, not Odell. Good from 40, good from 42, no good from 45. And then here on the kicker as well, from Rob Domofsky says Carlson good on 3 more field goals, 41, 43, 45. The rookie, who is the only kicker on the roster, starts camp 5 of 6. So seems pretty solid there. And then moving on now to some more eyes on Jordan Love and what's going on there on the offense from Andy Herman. Nice throw from Love to Dobbs over the middle off play action. Rasul in coverage, 12-ish yard pickup. Then Love hits Watson over the middle, maybe slightly high, but Watson struggles to hang on. Jair with extremely tight coverage. So first off, we have Love hitting Dobbs. Awesome to see. And then Love with a not perfect ball thrown to Watson, which is dropped. And of course, with this being Jordan Love's first year as starter, first training camp where he is the guy, I was wondering how he was going to look in his first day, because the pressure's on him. People are in the stands watching him, trying to see what he's going to be. And I'll show you the rest of the takeaways from Love. But the first day seemed to be slightly off, but we'll continue here. Then from Andy Herman, it says, nice job by Zach Tom against Preston Smith in pass pro. Love throws left, but some confusion and nobody there. Corey Ballantyne just punched a ball out from Dobbs. Nixon had great coverage initially, and play would have been done before the fumble, but they continued on. So, as he said there, Love throws left, but there's some confusion. Nobody was there. And that's one thing about this team, as I've already discussed, with it being a young roster, is not only with Jordan Love being in his first year as a starter, he does have, of course, 3 seasons here learning the system behind Aaron Rodgers. But there's lots of inexperienced receivers, lots of inexperienced tight ends. So overall, outside of Watson, Dobbs, Samori Toure, a few other guys, there's lots of inexperienced receiver talent. So not only does Love obviously need to throw the ball and be accurate, but also these guys need to be at the right spot at the right time. So it could take some time for these guys to get on the same page as these rookies are learning the playbook and learning exactly how they're supposed to operate. It would be reasonable to expect some kind of growing pains, and I assume that as training camp progresses, these guys will get more and more on the same page. And then here we have from Matt Schneidman says, Jordan Love's first deep shot of camp is to rookie tight end Luke Musgrave down the right sideline. Underthrown, and Corey Ballantyne breaks it up. So Love with another not great ball, slightly underthrown to tight end Luke Musgrave. And then here from Andy Herman, back to team. Watson beats Douglas easy on a corner route, but Love misses wide. 2 big play opportunities missed by 10 on back-to-back plays and team. So Watson seemed to be open. Love misses him, unfortunately. And then Love scrambles for a nice pickup on the next play. Nice job navigating the pocket. Kept eyes downfield. And then we have Keyshawn Nixon with a diving pass breakup versus Jaden Reed. Really nice play by 25. So looking at the cornerback group, of course, right now, Eric Stokes still not healthy, still not ready to practice after that injury last year. But Keyshawn Nixon is going to be the starter at slot there as long as Stokes isn't healthy. It's going to be Jair on the outside, Rasul Douglas on the outside, and then Keyshawn Nixon in the slot. And so we'll sort of see how he seems to be playing well there so far. And then for Matt Schneidman, Luke Musgrave has been beat around the edge multiple times already. That one by Preston Smith for a would-be sack. Marcedes Lewis on line 1. One thing I do wonder about this Packers tight end room, because it is young, the only experienced guys here are Josiah DeGuara and Tyler Davis. We, of course, this offseason lose Robert Tonyan to the Bears, and Marcedes Lewis, who is getting up there in age, who has been a really, really good run blocker over the past few years in Green Bay. He is no longer on the team, and so, the question is, not only is Marcedes Lewis gone as a veteran leader, but also his run blocking ability. And while Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft seem to have that receiving ability, the question is, are they going to be able to get it done in the run game? Because over the past few years, Lewis has been, one of the best blocking tight ends in the league, and to lose a guy of that caliber could cause some issues for this run game. And hopefully Musgrave and Kraft can, start to pick up these run blocking responsibilities. But they are rookies, they are young, and it could take them time to really know how to do everything. And the question is, should the Packers try to bring back Lewis if these guys aren't getting it done? Because Lewis still hasn't signed with a new team. Maybe they bring him back. But at the same time, Brian Gutekunst, Packers GM, has mentioned how one reason he didn't bring in a veteran receiver is because he wants these guys to be able to get snaps and grow with Love. And I also wonder if he's doing the same thing at tight end, where he doesn't want to bring in a guy who may take snaps and experience away from these young rookies. So while there could be growing pains, maybe in the long run it works out better if we don't bring in Marcedes Lewis back, just because Musgrave and Tucker Kraft can get some more reps than they would if Lewis was here. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. And then here we have from Andy Herman, Love hits Dobbs over the middle again. That's been the best connection so far for the offense. Preston may have had a sack on the play. Love with an underthrow to Dobbs deep. Jaire with a pass breakup. Jaire's looked fantastic so far, as expected. So it seems that Love and Dobbs have some kind of chemistry, some kind of connection with which is awesome. Hopefully he can continue to grow that with Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, all these other guys as well. But then once again, he has one nice play, which is awesome to see, but then an underthrow to Dobbs deep. So tough sledding there for Jordan Love. Seems to have some ups, seems to have some downs as well. And then here we have from Herman, Kenny Clark with a quick pressure. Love rolls right and finds a wide open Toure, but Love leads him too far right, and Toure catches it out of bounds. So another not so great throw there from Jordan Love. And then here from Andy Herman, Love with his best throw of the day so far. A nice little sidearm throw to Toure for a nice pickup. Toure beats Nixon on the play. So there we have a nice throw from Jordan Love. And then here to finish it off, we have ESPN's Rob Demovsky says this: that's it for practice number 1. They used 88 of their allotted 90 minutes. Jordan Love goes 7 for 14, all throwing into a strong wind. He was sharp on the intermediate throws, but couldn't connect deep, underthrowing a couple into Breeze. So Love throws for 50% completion percentage in his first practice here at, as starting QB in training camp. And he does mention the win there. It was also mentioned when Anders Carlson was kicking. For you guys, if you were there, if you're watching this, let me know how strong the winds were. Was this a legitimate concern, a legitimate reason for Love, not connecting deep? Do you think it was partly the wind, partly Love? Who knows? Because who knows how strong this wind was. That could have been part of the issue with Love's inaccuracy this day. So let me know for you guys who were there. But I think, too, when you look at the fact that, as I already mentioned, this is the first training camp practice for Jordan Love as a starter. There's a ton of pressure on his shoulders, and I assume that he's likely felt some of that. And so hopefully we see him grow as a QB. Hopefully we see him grow in his connection and his chemistry with these receivers. And as these training camp practices go on, we'll see a more accurate Jordan Love on all kinds of different throws. And this is a pretty tough defense when it comes to passing defense. It's been one of the best the past few seasons when it comes to passing yards allowed per game. He's having to go up against Jaire Alexander, Rasul Douglas, a pretty solid group of cornerbacks. And so it's no easy task for Jordan Love here, and especially considering this is an inexperienced offense. Hopefully, we'll see him progress over the next few weeks. But it's always great to have solid competition in camp, because then when he comes into games, he'll be more prepared to handle and face top-tier cornerback talents. So that is pretty much all the updates from the first day of training camp. If you want to stay up to date with all things Packers, feel free to subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you never miss any Packers content. And if you want to see my NFL podcast, I put one out yesterday. You can search Sideline Scoop Podcast on Spotify, Apple, all those kinds of things. And it's about a 35-minute podcast there yesterday, and I'll be out with more of that in the future. But that is all for today. I'll keep you guys up to date with everything else happening as training camp progresses. But it's exciting to be back. It's fun to be back, and it's fun to be making these videos, these training camp update videos once again. So I appreciate you guys watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.